Hello, welcome to my channel. We are learning about the Simian and the Suwon crease today. I do have some other Simian line videos too. If you haven't checked out my playlist, I have probably about 18 or so videos there. So please go ahead and look at those as well. But we will bring up 2 photos for you and we shall get started straight away. So I will bring up a close-up of each of these so we can have a bit of a discussion. But here's what I'll point out. A Simian line is a single transverse crease across the whole hand instead of having the usual head and the heart line. On the right hand, this is the Suwon crease because there is a headline here. It is not a very deeply etched headline, but it's still there. So there are a few little minor details there that make this a Suwon crease, which is basically a very long heart line, but the traits are generally the same as for a Simian line. So it is a Simian line variant. And yeah, there are many sort of ideas out there, but that, you know, Simian line is on people with Down syndrome, etc. But they have found that it is quite common in just ordinary folk, but more so in certain countries, and certain places have more of these. The general population is probably only about 4%, but it's not really known 100% because not everybody goes around showing their palms to everyone. So let's bring up the close-ups. So here we first have the Suwon crease. If we look at it as a very long heart line, then that would represent somebody who tends to show less sentiment, because a curved normal heart line would show someone who displays their feelings and tends to be more sentimental. But whereas a straight one, it's more reluctance to express emotion. So the Suwon crease being an exaggerated version of a straight heart line. Some people whose palms I've read, I've found that they do have great passion in what they do. They have a tendency towards perfectionism. So this Suwon crease personality types, they tend to be more intellectual. It's not uncommon for them to be workaholics, so they might put their work matters before relationships. So obviously other features would have to come into that. Mostly the personality types are similar to that with the Simian line. So they would be ambitious, obsessive, single-minded. They might have quite strong opinions about something that's close to their heart, and very, very little stop them from doing what they want to do. Empathy can be quite strong depending on the other features as well. So on this hand, there are some other lines that are quite common with Simians and Suwon creases, and that is called the girdle of Venus, and that does help with the sensitivity of the person, making them a bit more sensitive. But considering that this headline is quite sort of a weak line, I would say that most of the energy runs along this line. I also noticed that it does reach the other end, but it not before dipping down to the lifeline. There's a few little branches here. These are like ambition lines. But the line actually dips down to the start of the lifeline. So that's another reason why I say this is a Suwon crease and not a Simian line. I'll bring you the left hand and we shall talk more about. So here we have the Simian on the left hand. Even though if you look close, it looks like it ends just before it reaches to the other side. At least in this photo, I can't really see it finishing all the way to the end. But I would still classify this as a Simian line. Also, the branch that comes down appears to be what possibly could have been a headline, but I would rather call that a branch. So this is a Simian variant, and so would give those Simian traits of the head and the heart line being fused together. So somebody who's quite passionate or very focused on certain things that they are interested in, but also the kind of personality that seems to be a bit more intense because you have that mind and heart together. What on both the left and right hands, the lifeline is separated. That's the lifeline. It's separated from the Simian and the Suwon. So you've got this space here, and this space here represents somebody who's more outgoing and independent, open-minded, quite adventurous person. So they're not necessarily strongly connected to the parents or in the family. They've had to think for themselves at a young age, which can make them a little bit impulsive, making decisions without thinking potentially. And I noticed that there's a star here on the Saturn. It's sort of partially formed by there is a girdle of Venus, but there definitely seems to be a star there on the Saturn and a star on the Apollo mount as well. So star on the Saturn generally means success after hard work. Can show challenges though. If you have this sign, maybe look at what your restrictions are, what's holding you back. Are you trying to do too much or not doing enough? Is there a restriction that's stopping you from doing so much? And I noticed that there is quite a lot of worry lines. These are stress lines. These are more so on the non-dominant hand here. So this seems like in the past things were quite stressful for this person, that some sort of events were causing a lot of worry. And I noticed on the dominant hand that we looked at before, it didn't have such strong markings. So it shows that things have changed from the past, changed for the better by the looks of it. And so this star here on the Apollo mount, that generally represents more of the success, fame, wealth, social attainment, that kind of thing. But they are a bit of a risk taker. And that comes also with the Simian line. So they have to be quite careful on what they might be famous for, not so that they are not, becoming famous for the wrong reasons, sort of thing. Yeah, so I just wanted to point those out because it's fairly rare for someone with Simian lines to have so many of these markings, and particularly having so many other lines. So I think there's just, in the past, there's been a lot of worry, because these diagonal lines are pretty much all just worry lines, or fear lines, some people call them. So they can be temporary, and the fact that they're not so much on the right hand, which is a sign that things have changed in the past. But if you have questions for me about the Simian line, or if you would like to comment, please join my channel. I would love to communicate with you there. And you can check out my link on how to join my channel in the descriptions of all my videos. There is a link there saying how to join. Click on that and you'll get some more information. Thanks for staying with me, and I look forward to doing more of these videos soon. Bye.